the income inequality that exists today is very much something that we culturally, or at least our political leaders, have chosen. And we have the power to choose a different course. And I think so much of this battle is beating back against the resignation of like, well, this is just the way things work, this is the future. And guaranteed income is one of a set of much larger ideas that I think are needed to reset us on a sustainable path. The biggest evidence base is around the earned income tax credit, which I've known about for a long time. I think a lot of people think about it, but if you take a step back and really look at what it is the world's largest cash transfer program. I mean, it's $70 billion a year. It eclipses Bolsa Familia. It eclipses all of the other major cash transfer programs. And it provides nearly 30 million Americans with cash in the form of these tax rebate checks with no strings attached. And there's an immense evidence base that shows health outcomes improve. Kids stay in school a year longer. Their performance on test scores improve. We've looked at cigarettes and alcohol abuse. Workforce participation stays the same, if not increases. There's so much evidence there. So my view has really come to be that we have, by all accounts, some of the most robust evidence that cash, with no strings attached, put the moral case aside, just on the empirical, is one of the most powerful things that we can do to lift people out of poverty and to stabilize the lives of the middle class. I mean, already the EITC lifts more people out of poverty than unemployment insurance, food stamps, and housing vouchers combined. And I think with a massive expansion of it and modernization, it could really be the framework that a guaranteed income could be fashioned out of. We need to expand the definition of work. I am not at all interested in work requirements. I mean, I have a whole chapter in the book that goes into how I believe work requirements have historically been, and right now, are being very cynically used to throw people off of government benefits by playing into these narratives. And I'm not at all interested in that. What I'm much more interested in is, it's similar to what we did in some ways with marriage. My husband and I were part of the marriage equality fight, and what we did is we expanded the definition of marriage by focusing on what it is. It's about love. And as soon as we were able to say love is love and marriage should be really broader to encompass that, we really turned a corner in that movement. And so my hope is that we can have a much broader definition of work. People just want their work to be recognized for what it is. And they want the purpose that a good job used to bring. And right now, jobs, unfortunately, are not providing that too much of the time. And so when we talked about things like, well, what do you think of a universal basic income? People are like, well, what is that? It's like cash, but cash for what? For nothing? Who's paying for it? How long am I going to get it? It was just sort of, generally, it was hard to find a conceptual frame for it. And instead, when we had the same conversation with people and said, well, if you're taking care of your community, your family, or you're participating in your community, what we would hear back is, well, yeah, the community and our government should take care of us. This sort of symbiotic kind of relationship. As long as you're working in some way, we believe you certainly shouldn't live in poverty, and you should have a fair shot at the American dream. And that was like, across the board. Trump voting Republicans, yes, and sort of traditional Democratic. And so there was a sense that people want to have their participation recognized, a kind of participation income, so that they have a fair shot, that they have an opportunity to success. And that has been really formative in my own experience.